You know who really loves cryptocurrency? Scammers, ransomware, hackers, and that guy in your group chat who thinks buying Dogecoin is a retirement plan. Warren Buffett called Bitcoin rat poison squared. That's from a guy who made $100 billion by actually understanding value, not pretending that a JPEG of a monkey is going to pay your mortgage. And Paul Krugman, the Nobel Prize winning economist, compared crypto to subprime mortgages, saying it's a Ponzi scheme that keeps reinventing itself. When economists are calling your investment strategy a cult with a wallet, it is time to log off. Crypto promised to replace banks, money, and governments. So far, it's replaced your savings account with regret and a very long tax form. If you want to gamble, go to Vegas. At least there, when you lose your shirt, someone hands you a cocktail. Crypto is something obviously a lot of people have strong feelings about. I'm no different. We're told again and again, it's the next big thing. It's the next new thing. It's the next new thing. It's so important. But anytime I've ever asked somebody who owns cryptocurrency the following question: what value does it provide? I've never heard anyone give a good answer or even a real answer at any level. And that's really the problem. We know what the bad answers are. The bad answer is it helps scammers, criminals, people trying to ransom someone. We know about that. But typically, if you ask someone who's a big believer in it, they believe in it because it goes up. Well, you could say the same thing about tulips. If someone keeps paying more for tulips, then tulips are great, and that happened in history. Just keep on buying tulips, because if more suckers come along and start paying $10 for a $1 tulip or $1,000 for a $1 tulip, well, you'll just keep making money, right? Until the whole thing caves in. Now, we've seen a lot of ups and downs with Bitcoin, and so many cryptocurrencies have just disappeared. Since this is the communiverse, I'm interested in how this idea is communicated. One of the ideas that is communicated about any cryptocurrency is it's the new thing. It's new technology. It's so sophisticated. It's going to replace these outdated so-called fiat currencies. But then you scratch a little, you look at the details. Cryptocurrency's been around since 2009. That's incredibly old from the standpoint of a new technology. I mean, that's basically ancient. Still, how often can you go to the local grocery store and pay with cryptocurrency? Can you go to your local convenience store, your local liquor store, and pay for cryptocurrency? No, you can't. Now, there certainly was a time, I noticed it in South Florida, especially in Miami, where you'd see all these signs: cryptocurrency accepted here. We accept cryptocurrency. And it seems like, wow, this must be the new thing. It's accepted everywhere. Only one little problem. If you go to the store and say, hey, can I really pay with cryptocurrency? They're like, oh no, somebody just paid us a few bucks to put that bumper sticker in the wall and on the door. It was all a scam. So biggest problem, as I see it with cryptocurrency, is there's no clear use for it in payments or commerce. It's simply not a reliable use of commerce. Legitimate businesses simply do not need to use cryptocurrency. It's slow, it's inefficient, it's expensive, especially during peak network congestion. It's kind of a step backwards when it comes to financial evolution. The other problem is there's no intrinsic value. Now you could say, well, the US dollar isn't backed by gold, it's fiat currency, but time out. The very same people who are saying the US dollar is so worthless because there's no intrinsic value then want to turn around and say, well, Bitcoin is great, even though it has no intrinsic value. Fiat currency is bad because somebody just established by fiat that it's worth something. Well, that's essentially what's happening with Bitcoin. So there's a lot of circular arguments going on here. It's really true speculation, no different from what I talked about with tulips. Now, did some people make money on tulips? Yes. Have people made money with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies? Well, yes, you can make money on anything. I mean, I could make money saying this pen was used by Taylor Swift, and I'll auction it off starting at $100, and maybe it goes to 200, 500, 1,000. I could make money, but that's really just speculate. By the way, she's never seen this pen. It's just speculation, and that's not real investment. So people talk about this being like a crypto gold and being a safe haven. Well, it fluctuates wildly. Now, gold also fluctuates. I'm not a big fan of gold, frankly, but the idea that it is counter-cyclical and it will be a great hedge during recessionary time, there's simply not a single shred of evidence. It fluctuates wildly because it's speculation. There are a lot of big problems with crypto. Part of it is it's environmentally destructive. The amount of energy it takes to do this so-called mining. Don't even get me into explaining it because it's so wildly complicated. You can say, well, TJ, you don't understand crypto. Here's the thing. I bet you don't either. And most people who invest in crypto, if you talk to them for more than 5 minutes and say, well, explain to me again, who created this, why, what the value is, who's monitoring it, how is it managed? They have no idea. And that's the problem I see as a message that a currency has. Currencies have messages. Believe in the United States dollar because, at least until a few months ago, it was backed by a stable government that kept its promises and made sound decisions often. That was the argument behind the US dollar, a safe haven. There's no real argument behind Bitcoin, except for one, which I'll get to in a moment. Other problems with crypto, it's used by sleazy, skeezy characters because of lack of regulation and transparency in a lot of crypto markets. Now, there is Bitcoin and there are all the others. I'm not saying Bitcoin is great, all the others are garbage. I'm saying all of them are garbage. Doesn't mean people haven't made money. Doesn't mean you can't make money on them. I'm saying that I essentially agree with Warren Buffett that it is rat poison squared. And I'm going to go over a few more reasons. I like Paul Krugman's phrase, that's techno-optimism run amok. That as long as it's been around, all the hype, all the big show, all the billionaires hyping it, no one has really figured out a real world use for this. And talking about banking the unbanked, they've either failed these solutions or they bring out new risk. They haven't really done much at all. In some ways, this is very similar to the dot-com boom, which ended up as a bust, similar to a lot of the deregulation that brought out the 2008 housing crisis. That certainly didn't work out well. And it involves a lot of magical thinking that once you scratch a little, it doesn't really pan out. It doesn't really work. That's the problem. Now, there is one thing that crypto is good for. Paul Krugman doesn't give enough credit. A lot of other people don't give credit, but I'm going to spell it out for you right here. I think this is the real message that is communicated by cryptocurrency. It's a way for wealthy people, and I'm not anti-wealthy people by some measures. It's a way for wealthy people to say F you to their own government. You can't dilute the value of my money. You can't devalue our currency and harm me with inflation. I've got this other currency here. That's really the ultimate value of wealthy people being able to say F you to their government. And here I am in the United States. That obviously applies to the US government and to the United States dollar. So if that's the main message you want to send, by all means, continue to promote cryptocurrency. But if that's not what you think personally values you, I don't know why you would want to be involved with it. So those are my thoughts on cryptocurrency. This has been around since 2009. I get sick of hearing about it. I absolutely love when I see it plummet and people losing money from it, but it's not going to go away anytime soon. But just because something doesn't go away doesn't mean it's not a horrible idea. A lot of cults have been around for thousands of years. They don't go away. Certain diseases have been around thousands of years. They don't go away. I put this in the same category.